Hello everyone, recently I ran a poll of what themed Q&A you would like to see on the channel, and unanimously y'all voted for a Marvel DC Q&A video. Thank you to those who submitted your questions across social media. First question is, what is your favorite MCU film? Wow, there's a lot to choose from, but still to this day, I love Iron Man 2008. There's just something about that is just a perfect origin film and just my favorite of the MCU still, with close seconds being Infinity War, Endgame, and then Captain America Winter Soldier. What is your favorite DCEU film? That would be Zack Snyder's Justice League. That is like the most quintessential DC film, and I just love everything about it, all 4 hours of it. What is the first Marvel comic you ever read? I think I went over this in my 700th video for the Marvel Q&A, but it had to be Ghost Rider. Issue 1, Daniel Ketch. My brother had Marvel Comics, so that is probably the first comic I think I read, all the way to issue 11 with the glow-in-the-dark cover. That is like the earliest comic from Marvel I remember outside of X-Factor and X-Men. And then the first trade back graphic novel that my brother got me was Secret Wars and Dark Phoenix Saga. Favorite Batman? Well, as far as Batman himself, out of everything, would have to be Kevin Conroy. But as far as live action, Christian Bale still is my favorite Batman to this day. Which X-Men would you want to be? I love Gambit and I love Wolverine, but I think Wolverine's healing factor would be a pretty cool thing to have along with long life. You know, that would be kind of interesting to get over illnesses and stuff like that. Are you a DC or you're Marvel? Okay, this is I'm a Mac and I'm a PC. I'm a DC, I'm a Marvel, on YouTube. I love both. I'm more into Marvel Comics than I am the MCU. I'm not an MCU fanboy. I'm a Marvel fan, and believe it or not, there's a difference. But if somebody had a gun to my head, I'd be like, Batman smokes them all. So I guess it would be DC, and more specifically Batman, over every single one. With a close second being Spider-Man, because those two superheroes I think have the best rogues galleries, and they're the most vulnerable and most human. Are you excited for James Gunn's Superman? No, I wish them well. I'm just kind of checked out of comic book films, but the more I see from this, the more it kind of gets me worried. And I'm hoping it's that lighthearted kind of fun we had from the Tim Daly animated series, Silver Age era, Dean Cain's Lois and Clark New Adventures Superman was lighthearted, but this almost feels like it's making fun of the character, and it's almost a parody in the juvenile jokes. I don't like James Gunn's humor and style there, so I'm hoping that it's a good film, but nothing about it gets me excited to see it. But I did get the McFarlane Crypto Superman Deluxe figure to go with the other movie Superman figure, so there's that. I think David Cornsett's going to surprise people, believe it or not. But I think the stars of this, so far, from the looks of it, Crypto, Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, and then I think Nicholas Hoult is going to kill it as Lex Luthor. Which DCU film are you looking forward to the most? Well, before they announced it was put on hold, it was Swamp Thing from James Mangold. I still hope they make Swamp Thing. I love the Alan Moore run and the 2019 show. I think Supergirl might be a surprise hit, but it's not a film, but I'm most excited for probably Lanterns on HBO. Thoughts on the new Fantastic Four film? I honestly think it looks great. I like the retro-futuristic 60s look. It goes back to the original comics. I think they have a great cast. I want to see who John Malkovich plays, and then seeing Galactus, he's probably going to destroy their universe, and they're going to go through the portal to the MCU Earth as seen at the end of the Thunderbolts. So we'll see. But I actually think it's going to be good. I'm excited for it. And Disney did The Incredibles. They're over Marvel. Hopefully third time's a charm. If not, we're going to have fourth time's a charm, but it'll be just in time for the 20th anniversary of the 2005 film, and yeah, I think Fantastic Four has yet to have a definitive film like Superman, Batman, or even X-Men or Avengers, so I'm excited for Fantastic Four, and I'm hoping they pull a win. Worst Marvel film? There's a lot of bad straight-to-video stuff at the beginning. Outside of that, it would probably have to be Ghost Rider Spirit Avengers. That made Punisher Warzone look like The Dark Knight. That has to be, hands down, the worst Marvel movie, still to this day, even over the MCU stuff. I don't know what they were thinking with Spirit of Vengeance. Are you Team Cap or Team Iron Man? I love Iron Man as a character, but I'm Team Cap all the way. Plus, his team is still alive, so there you go. Do you think the Batman 2 will ever be made? I'm hoping it is. They're about to be close, but honestly, it's starting to feel like the Ben Affleck Batman when it kept being put on hold and delayed until they eventually canceled it. So I don't think he's going to fold into the DC universe. I think they're going to probably cancel it because he started off as a young Batman. He's going to be like Affleck's age by the time they make it. I know there's behind-the-scenes stuff, but I hope they make at least the Batman 2, but if not, I wouldn't mind a Catwoman spinoff or even Batman put into an HBO series and just put it into the Penguin format with the Penguin showrunner and just continue Batman that way if it's not in a movie. I would actually like it better on HBO if it was TVMA Batman. Who is the most powerful between Captain Marvel and Scarlet Witch? As far as brute force, it'd be Captain Marvel, but Scarlet Witch has unlimited energy. But who are we kidding, man? The Phoenix would smoke both of them. First DC comic you ever read. I went over this in a video as well, but that had to be, I think, my brother's Spawn Batman crossover from Todd McFarlane and Frank Miller. I remember that cover. That was probably the first DC comic I read. And then as far as individual issue, it would be Superman Man of Steel issue 57 from 1996, where he saves kids from tornadoes in Smallville. Those two would be like the first introduction I had to the DC Comics universe. Favorite Zack Snyder DC film? Ooh, good question. I love the trilogy with Man of Steel, BVS, Zack Snyder's Justice League. 300's a good little adaptation, but honestly, Watchmen. Watchmen's still my favorite of his. Like, that is a great one-to-one adaptation with some embellishments, but that was like a film that was once thought to be unfilmable, and he did the impossible by filming it. And I think technology finally caught up to be able to tell that story. But yeah, Watchmen is probably still my favorite Zack Snyder DC film. Favorite Avengers installment? Ooh, great question. The first one is iconic, but honestly, I always thought that was an overrated film, even back then. My favorite would actually be Infinity War. Endgame ends it really great, has the greatest hits going through time, but outside the last hour, I just like Infinity War with the team disbanding Thanos, you know. Fun isn't something one considers when balancing the universe, but it does put a smile on my face. Who would you like to see as the next Wolverine? Well, if it's not the Wolverine, and if Hugh Jackman isn't doing it till he's 90, I would have to say Scott Eastwood. I think he would have the vibe and voice, and because Clint Eastwood could have been a great Wolverine if they made it in the 70s, I think Scott Eastwood could do it. Who would you like to see as the DCU Batman? That's tough. It depends what type of tone and build they go with, whether it's going to be like Neil Adams or Frank Miller or what, or New 52. Alan Ritchson is a popular choice. I would like him because he played Aquaman in Smallville and then Hawk in Titans, but if it's not him, then definitely Jensen Ackles, even though it's more Red Hood-like. He could play Red Hood. I don't know. Either one of those two. But honestly, I think at this point it'd be good to get like a complete unknown. Who would you like to see as the next Wonder Woman? I would love to see Gal Gadot back, maybe do an Elseworlds Wonder Woman 3. I don't know why they don't take advantage of Elseworlds and make all the fans happy, have the best of both worlds. I think it's a money thing. Adria Arjona would be great. I think Connor Leslie could be a great Diana Prince since she played Donna Troy on Titans, but honestly, there's an actress that hasn't been thrown around much, but Malia Krelling. She was on Tyrant and Filthy Rich, and she's a Greek actress, and I actually think she could have the look of like Adria Arjona and Gal Gadot and have the elegance yet the fierceness for Diana as a warrior, and I think she would be good. That's who I would cast, but we'll see. If you could direct a DC/Marvel TV show or film, which character would you want to direct? If I was like at carte blanche over either taking over something or creating, I would love to showrun a 5-season Batgirl show. That's what I would do for DC. As far as Marvel goes, it was Moon Knight, but then they made Moon Knight. I wouldn't mind doing Punisher or Hulk. I think Hulk needs like a serious revamp. Like, they did Smart Hulk and him dabbing, and I'm like, no, go back to the Bill Bixby 70s Incredible Hulk type of stuff. Go back to what Ed Norton was doing in the Incredible Hulk. Have that type of Hulk again with his enemies. I wouldn't mind, like Bucky, I wouldn't mind him adopting the Nomad line and just kind of doing the Nomad comics from the 90s. I love those comics. That would be kind of cool to do with Sebastian Stan. Thank you for submitting your DC Marvel related questions. If you want to see another type of Q&A video, let me know which theme and submit questions down below. But in the meantime, I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break until Mission Impossible, so stay safe and healthy, everyone. And remember, you can argue about fandoms and superheroes and which incarnations you love the most, but if you don't embody the character and values of the heroes you worship, then what is the point? Be kind and respect one another out there, everyone.